Russell Wilson is a new one, so we'll start with him. He's on the Dan Patrick show, and he doesn't say that he wants to be traded, but he doesn't deny it either. He basically says that his availability is in the Seahawks' hands, and it's not up to him, and he wants more say in management procedures. To me, Russell Wilson is a very interesting candidate for a team who's ready to win but doesn't have a quarterback. The team might be Indianapolis. The team might be maybe like a Denver, although that's a little bit on the outside. Maybe a San Francisco. He doesn't seem like a Jets fit to me, even though maybe in Miami, but even though they have the most draft picks in this first round along with Miami. So we'll start with Wilson and his kind of surprising want out of Seattle, Jack.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember back when the Patriots played the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Hey, wow, that took about 2.5 minutes for you to bring up the Patriots.
Well, let me explain. They lost the Super Bowl, and this was still when they were like the Legion of Boom Seahawks. They were a great team. And what did they do? They traded their center, Max Unger, and they got Jimmy Graham. And that was really the beginning of the end for this great Seahawks team. And now we're at a point where Russell Wilson's saying that he's taken too many hits. And what was the position that they traded away back then? It was their center. I understand Wilson's frustration. And you see the team that won the Super Bowl kind of let their quarterback call some of the shots. And I'm sure that guys like Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson are taking notes and saying, hey, why can't I do that?
Man, it's tough when a star quarterback is when they want out. I mean, there's just, that change will result in a lot of news. That the quarterback leaving where they're going will have to go somewhere else, and hence we get to the QB carousel. It's exciting. It's exciting to see QB movement. In terms of Wilson, you can't say you're surprised because it's like, if you really think about it, he had Shoddy for all those years, and everyone's like, let Russ cook. And Shoddy's like, we are going to run this football so many times that you are not going to believe it. Chris Carson, usage through the roof. I can see Russ getting frustrated with that. I can see Russ getting frustrated with the lack of protection.
That they just fired Brian Schottenheimer?
They fired Shoddy, and I guess whoever they brought in to replace him did not necessarily pique the interest of Wilson, because for this request to come out kind of shortly after that hiring doesn't seem like a total coincidence to me. Man, I saw a tweet when the Seahawks lost to the Rams that said, can't wait for the Seahawks to spend their first-round pick on defense and then wonder why Wilson keeps getting sacked so much by Aaron Donald. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
It's funny because they already spent their first-round pick on defense in August.
Yep.
Trading into the Jets.
So what did they trade for again, Chris Hennessy? What was that trade again?
Jamal Adams. And look, I hated it. I hated it still.
The decibel level just went all the way down.
I hated the trade. I do, but it's the reason that the Jets are going to end up with freaking Deshaun Watson. So I'm not upset about it.
The Jets fleeced the Seahawks. As a Giants fan, it pains me to say that Joe Douglas pulled off a masterclass on that deal.
I agree with you. And, yeah, 2 first-round picks for a safety is clinically insane. But when you look at the history of the New York Jets and the draft picks over the last literally named the amount of years, basically since Sanchez, they've all sucked. So, to trade the only one that was good away hurts. But now he's the only reason they're able to get Deshaun Watson. So, I don't know. I think in the Russell Wilson situation, I can totally understand why he's upset, and I get it, but it's still surprising where he's the franchise quarterback there. He has been for many years. He's settled in, and he loves the coach, and him and the coach are on good terms, seemingly, but maybe not. And you would think that Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson would be able to figure this out together in a way to kind of attack this offseason as a duo who clearly both want the best for Russell Wilson. That's kind of where my disconnect begins, because when compared to the Deshaun Watson situation, right? They just fired Bill O'Brien, and they hired this new guy who Deshaun Watson didn't have any say in. They hired a new GM who Deshaun Watson didn't have any say in, and that's kind of where that disconnect happens. This is a trio in GM, coach, and quarterback who have been together for the entirety of Russell Wilson's career. So if this has been an issue for a long period of time, why are we just learning about it now? And if it's a new issue, how come it can't be handled internally, where they've been able to figure out a lot together, including dismantling the Legion of Boom and still putting together a pretty good defense, and drafting DK Metcalf and getting in offensive weapons and Tyler Lockett over the past couple of years. So that's kind of where my confusion kind of begins, is this isn't a new grouping of people. This is an old grouping of people who's having new issues that don't make any sense.
But where do you think Wilson is at? You know, like there's definitely like a spectrum of, hey, I'm a little upset with how things are going versus, hey, I'm Deshaun Watson and you got to get me on the first plane out of Houston. You know, like where is Wilson in that level of disgruntled? You know, like can they run it back with that team?
I would think that they can with another offensive lineman, but again, they already traded away their next two first-round picks.
Or a box safety. Man.
Man.
With Wilson, I am finding in my quest to both learn about sports, be a sports fan, be a more obsessed sports fan. I'm learning over time that when you see a headline or you see a story or hear a quote and you listen and you're like, that doesn't add up. There's something else there. There's something that we don't know about as fans going on behind the scenes. You are right most of the time. I find that even when you don't think that there's something you don't know about going on behind the scenes, there's stuff that you don't know about. It's just there's so many aspects of team management. I often forget. I almost intended to say people forget people. I forget that this is not just real life Madden. They didn't just take Madden and bring it to real life. It's quite the other way around. You've got to have people that can work with other people. You know, your GM and coach and president all have to be in tune, in sync. And to me, it seems like here in Seattle, these conversations, these football conversations, hey, here's the vision, here's our plan. And it was just reported when they hired the new offensive coordinator that he had talked to Carroll and that they were both totally on board with each other's visions. And Carroll trusted him, and Carroll saw his vision as one worth carrying out and one that he would let this new OC carry out. So the head coach seemed to be very on board with this OC pickup. And now we have Wilson coming out and saying, I would like to be more involved in decisions. It seems like maybe they've just been talking him off this ledge of asking out for a while now. And this is just, he's finally done. You know, they hired that OC. I'm out of here. They didn't get my guy, and I'm Russell Wilson, and they didn't get my guy. Give me my respect. I'm out of here. It might be something as simple as that. There's always, just as I was saying, there's just always something more with these stories, something we don't know about. It could have been, it could be something like a text that rubbed Russ the wrong way that just made him start thinking, what is my future here with this organization? And do I see myself winning a Super Bowl here? No, I know. And wanting to move on, a whole plethora of things could have gone down. These things happened. The reason I said at first that I wasn't necessarily incredibly surprised was that I think if you told anyone listening to this show, anyone that's participating as a host of this show, that James Harden was not only not going to be a Houston Rocket, but going to be a Brooklyn Net in the year 2021, nobody would have believed you a year ago. So things change real fast with star players, and we're at a time now where they're getting where they want to go.